Firstly, looking back at coming from behind for a draw at Tamworth, what do you see from the game as positives, but also stuff to learn from as well?
Yeah, I think the positives that obviously we conceded quite early, and we didn't let it affect us too much, even though there was plenty to improve on. But for the amount of chances we had and balls in the box, we thought it was the least we deserved. But the positives, every team I think that goes there has got to deal with long throws and balls in your box and set pieces, and any time it goes out of play, it's coming in your box. And I think even during the week, they're very close to getting 3 points against another good team. So lots of positives, plenty of chances, and another point on the board, and we move on.
How important has it been to have a week between the two matches and then preparing for another sort of hectic fixture schedule?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're probably luckier than one or two others in terms of they're going Saturday, Tuesday for a long time, and I think we've got 7 games this month, so it's going to test the squad. But that's what we're there for, and we feel like we've got stronger in terms of bodies and what we've got. So yeah, listen, people will be used, of course, and the games coming thick and fast are always good when you're winning.
You mentioned having those extra bodies. Has the week also helped to bed in some of the newer players as well?
A little bit in terms of principles of play and what's expected. I don't think that does any harm. In terms of it's getting the mix right of, because it's been a tough schedule and time of season, the rest and recovery, and but also getting good detail and work into the players, and especially when you've got new players who are trying to bed in, of course. But no, it's been, in terms of that, been a good week and some good work going into it.
And then looking back at the first fixture against Yeovil Town back in November, how do you compare the squad back then to where it is now?
Yeah, some differences, of course. I think it's hard to compare that game too much, of course, because of the sending off and subsequent rescinded, etc. I think the overriding thing was disappointing to lose a game when we lost the keeper. Became very difficult. So yeah, we feel like the squad's, there's been a bit of change, of course, which happens. We think we're in a good place.
And then sort of looking ahead at the game on Saturday, unbeaten in the last 4, what messaging do you give to the players ahead of this game?
No, just keep doing things right. There's different challenges every game, from like we've had with Rochdale, who are a real good football inside and certain way of playing. Tamworth different, of course, but all different challenges within this league, and Yeovil's no different. Had a difficult period, but they've had a couple of very good results. Tweaked their system slightly from when we played them, but they still have a lot of the same players and same threats, and really well coached, really well organised, and we'll be high after the last couple of results, of course.
Nice one, thanks, Kevin.
Kevin, it's hard to believe that we're coming into March and we're coming into the final run-in for the season as well. What's the feeling like among the team going into this?
No, okay, yeah, I think, as you say, it's in some ways been a long season. Some ways it feels like we haven't really fully got going because of a lot of changes and stop-start, and so we've still got new players that are bedding in, of course, and we're getting stronger in terms of squad numbers and depth that we haven't had. So strange a little bit that we're getting to March and it's happening, but hopefully that stands in good stead for the run-in, as you say, and there's a lot of points to play for, and we've got to go and pick up as many as we can, and the squad's going to be tested this month, but everyone's got to be ready to play.
Yeah. Reflecting momentarily, February obviously a very congested fixture schedule in there as well, but what's the biggest thing that you've taken away from that?
Just the amount of points that we're picking up. Yeah, I think that we said this stage of the season you've got to pick up as many points as you can, and there's different challenges in games. The pitches change a bit, and they're different. So you've got to find ways to win football matches, and we've done that to a decent level. Still want to improve. I don't think we're there yet in terms of what we are as a team. So still loads to improve on, and still a work in progress in some aspects. But pleased with a lot of it. And pleased with a lot of it stuff that's happened.
Definitely. Nearly full availability as well, so you have Maher and Adam Grau, but how are they doing?
Yeah, they're getting better. Cav is with Steph now on the grass doing his return to play stuff, so he'll be if he can have a good week next week with them, that will edge in closer. Adam Crowther's first day on the grass with the physio, just doing some straight line stuff. So that push him closer as well. But there'll obviously be some work to do before they can be available to play.
Obviously, between the sticks, Nick Hayes has been absolutely thriving in there as well. He's been loving it. But with Anstey on the bench, we've talked about whether you're looking to bring another goalkeeper while Colin's injured. But is it something you're looking at, or are you quite happy with the situation as it is?
Yeah, I think it's something we monitor. Listen, Anstey's still fit.
Yeah.
And he's been training well, and he gets himself. He knows his body and knows what he needs to do. As you say, Hazy coming in gives us that stability. And that breath of fresh air coming into the club, I've got to say. So listen, it's something we'll look at if we need to act. I'm sure we will, but I don't think there's a great panic right now.
Going into this Yeovil game, I remember when we spoke after it, you felt it was one of those games you just put it to bed and you move on completely. But going to Hewish Park this game, does it come into sort of preparation and drive and a bit of motivation, maybe having a score to settle against Yeovil, or is it just completely buried going into this?
No, I don't think anything happened in the home game. It's nothing to do with Yeovil or anything with that at all. I think the frustration, obviously, with this, a couple of decisions and bits and pieces like that. So nothing there. No, it's a game we look at like any other. It was always a tough place to go, and the crowd get behind them ever so well. And Mark's got a really well organised team and really well coached team, and they may have had a bit of a blip. Everyone in this league has times where results aren't going their way. It's how quickly you get out of there, and they've done that the last couple. So I'm sure they'll be full of confidence going into it.
They're one of those teams that they've had the struggles at home as well. I haven't had one as many as maybe club as fans would expect, but how do you use that to your advantage?
Yeah, we go and play as well as we can, and we go and try and win the game. And I think we've had our own few struggles at home, and sometimes the size of the club when teams visit us, it's a big game for a lot of teams because they know there's a big crowd, big decent stadium, good atmosphere. So teams will use that as a motivation if you want. We shouldn't have to do that going away anywhere we go as Southend United, but we'll go there with a plan to win the game, and I don't think where it is and who it is shouldn't change too much, but there's tactical bits you've got to look at, of course.
It was great talking to Ben Goodliff just before as well. One of the key words he's talked about was character, and everybody in this team pushes each other. We've talked about competition and how you feel that's really driving things along. Coming into a period where you've got 4 away games and you'll be calling on how valuable an asset is having that competition in your team. Yeah,
it should do, and I think if you look at all the teams up the top end of the league, they've had that competition throughout the season. Ours has come a bit later, but that's okay because we're building. But yeah, listen, and I think it just drives standards around the place. Standard training should go up. Competition for places should drive that as well, and you've got to perform, you've got to train properly, as it happens here all the time. And you've also got to perform when you get given a chance, and that's football, that's part and parcel, and we've got to change the team around every so often, and we'll look at that, of course, depending on the opposition and depending where we feel some players are in terms of freshness, etc.